Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Oh, I got a doozy here for you. Shout out to Christie Sides for always bringing the great content. I really do appreciate it. Wow. So, Christie Sides gets asked about Caitlin Clark and her shooting. And we're just going to jump right in because I want you to pay attention. Well, pay attention to the whole clip. There's some good stuff we're going to talk about, but really pay attention to the first thing she says because I guarantee you, Caitlin Clark has never heard this, nor has anybody else on that roster. All right, here we go.
Caitlin Clark needs to shoot at minimum 15 shots a game for us. I mean, she's got to get shots. We've got to do a better job of setting her up and setting some really good screens for her to get her open. You know, the way people guard her, it's tough because she's getting redded. So once the ball's out of her hands, she is setting the rest of our team up for some really great looks. But when we're not able to finish those, we've got to make sure we're going back and trying to get her back to that ball, getting that ball back in her hands at times.
Do you want her to be able to be setting screens for her to come up instead of just ball screens? Like for her to just come up, shoot, catch? Like she didn't do that a lot in college. She always had the ball in her hands.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the way teams play her, I mean, if she gets a ball screen, they're just going to do everything to take it out of her hands. They're going to red her. I mean, that's what she's getting every time. She's getting some pretty good looks when she's off the ball, but you know, we like her on the ball, so we just got to figure out how to manage the two.
Okay. Wow, so much to unpack there. First, to the reporter's question, you are now covering in the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. It would be helpful if you knew something about her career at Iowa, because yes, Caitlin Clark had the ball a lot. She was the leading scorer. She led the nation in assists 3 years. However, Caitlin Clark did not always have the ball in her hands, and she most certainly scored off ball and came off screens to catch and shoot. And she was very, very good at it. It's a skill set that she has. But you seem to want to be helping Christie Sides by saying, oh, well, that's something Caitlin doesn't really do. So that's why we're not doing it here. That is not true. Christie Sides thinks you're all going to believe her over what you're seeing. Wow. Now, let's get back. 15 minimum. Caitlin Clark needs to shoot minimum 15 times a game. That came straight from the head coach. You all heard it. You all heard it. I had to repeat that because I heard it and I'm still not believing it. Caitlin Clark doesn't know that. None of the other Fever know that. Mitchell and Wheeler certainly don't know that. And if you do like the ball in her hands, why do you make her stand in the corner so much? You don't set on ball screens. And before somebody comes and say, oh, yeah, they do. No, they don't. And the reason I say that is because what they are doing is a joke. They're not on ball screens. I'm sorry, just kind of moving over toward Caitlin Clark and never setting and never actually trying to pick off her player. That doesn't count. You're not setting the ball screen. You're not setting off ball screens. You most certainly are not getting the ball back to her after she gives it up. Yet you keep talking about we have to do better. We have to do better. It's halfway into the season. Are you watching these games that you're coaching? Are you seeing the non-existent screens? Are you seeing players like Wheeler and Mitchell and Smith not passing the ball to Caitlin Clark? What are you doing about it? And the shots she is getting, for the most part, she's not getting good looks. She's getting Caitlin Clark looks. She's taking insane shots you would never have another player take. They aren't really good shots, but she's just that talented that's what's left to her. If she's going to shoot it all, those are the shots she needs to take. So what are you, Christie Sides, head coach of the Indiana Fever, doing to get Caitlin Clark, a generational talent, those minimum 15 shots you say you want her to take? Again, do her teammates know you want her to take minimum 15 shots? Does Caitlin Clark know you want her to take minimum 15 shots? There is no offensive plan or scheme or system that any of us watching see that indicates you want Caitlin Clark to take minimum 15 shots. There's no correction or coaching going on with regard to what the team is doing poorly because we are 19 games into the season. If you were doing any coaching in terms of how poor their screens are, how they are refusing to give the ball back to Caitlin Clark, if you were coaching that, we would see improvements, not just here. We've got to do better with no improvement. Why not? Why are there no fixes? Why is there no improvement? This is a professional basketball team. It should not be tough. It should not take much time to fix how screens are set. And look, I'll say a little bit of that goes to Caitlin, and it may be frustration because the screens are poor, but she also has to do a little bit better job of rubbing off of screens and setting up her defender into screens. So it's a mix. Maybe if we actually set decent screens, she will do a better job. But that is coaching, pure and simple. That is, you're going to show the film, and then you're going to get on the court and you're going to say, this is what I want. This is how you set a screen. This is how you rub off a screen. And if it is not done, you are going to be on the bench. Why do we not see multiple screens set for Caitlin Clark off the ball or on the ball? Why do we not see staggered screens set for Caitlin Clark? Why isn't she not running multiple baseline runs and coming off multiple screens and curling around? Christie Sides, you are allowing bad screens to be set. And you are allowing your players to ignore Caitlin Clark and not get the ball back to her. And I'm going to show you this short clip. This is a great example of what I'm talking about. This encapsulates really the entire season in this one possession because this is what's been going on all season long. Now, Caitlin Clark's going to get the ball to Wheeler. She's going to go down and she's going to, I guess, set a screen for NaLyssa Smith and then come off of that herself and then come off of a supposed screen by Aaliyah Boston at the top. None of the screens are good. But despite that, she gets open. And Wheeler knows who this ball is supposed to go to. And she sees Caitlin Clark come off the screen open. And we all know Caitlin Clark's release. This is a ball that absolutely must go to Caitlin Clark. Let's see what happens. She comes up, she's wide open. Wheeler ignores her, throws a ball into Smith. Smith forces up a shot with 3 defenders on her and gets blocked. By the way, and you can even see the elbow here. Caitlin Clark does a better job attempting to set screens for teammates than they ever do for her. All right, she's going to go down. She's going to come over. Look at that. She actually, I mean, technically, if you wanted, you could probably call an offensive foul on that screen, but she's trying. I mean, she's actually trying when she sets, and then she's going to come off right there. Boston's moving a little, but again, Caitlin could probably also do a better job of rubbing. But that is in professional basketball, she is wide open for the catch and shoot, and we all know how good she is at that. She has an incredibly quick release. She is not phased at all by pressure or a hand in her face. That is wide open. Wheeler is looking right at her. Does the ball go to Caitlin Clark for an easy 3? Nope. It goes down in NaLyssa Smith for a block. She gets blocked. She's got 3 defenders. Boston could be screaming for this ball too, and she could also be inching down a little bit to receive it closer to the basket because everyone collapsed on Smith. And remember what Christie Sides just said. Caitlin Clark should be shooting minimum 15 times per game. This play encapsulates everything that is wrong with the Indiana Fever. And the one thing I would add to it is as a coach, if I saw that, I'm taking Wheeler out of the game right now. And I'm asking her why she didn't give that ball to Caitlin Clark. And then I'm telling her to go sit down and she's going to watch for a long time. And that's going to happen every single time a play like that happens and the ball does not go to Clark. And to me, the fact that that never happens tells me, one, Christie Sides is an incompetent coach, and then two, Christie Sides doesn't want Caitlin Clark to succeed. And I'll add a half question mark to that because you hate to believe that that's true of a head coach, but the evidence is getting pretty overwhelming. Now, again, back to the minimum 15 shots per game for Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's shots per game over the last 7 games, 8, 11, 11, 12, 12, 11, 9, including only 2 in the second half. 9 of the last 10 games, which is more than half the season now, 12 shots or fewer. More than 15, 4 times. 4 times in 19 games. 16 twice, 17 twice. That is coaching. When you're telling me your player should be shooting minimum 15 times a game and that happens and they shoot more than 15 4 times in 19 games, that is coaching. Now it's combined with players who won't pass to her, but again, that is coaching because coaching can fix that in a way I just said. You sit some butts on the bench. Look, you're not a good team and you're losing anyway. So when these players are not doing what you ask, when they are not setting good screens, you coach it in practice and then you sit them in games if they're not doing it. When they are not passing to Caitlin Clark for the shots you say she wants and she is open, you sit them and you say it every single time. Here's why I just yanked your butt out of the game. You did not do what you're supposed to do. And until you learn that, you're going to sit down. And look, those shots in the first half, those are Caitlin Clark shots. Those aren't great shots to be taken. I have some of that set for another video. I mean, you all saw it. It's all over the internet now, right? She literally nailed a 3 from the logo because that's the shot she has to take because she's not given any other options. She's not given any other options. And I'm gonna show you one more because this is just new and this is cool. And this goes to my point that Caitlin Clark's shots are only happening the ones she does take because Caitlin Clark is correcting them. So you're going to see here coming up, this is a terrible screen. And then you're going to see just a fantastic play by Caitlin Clark. Oh, yeah, I didn't finish that. Okay, there's that miss, and boom, here we go. Now, here comes a screen, which is not a good screen. And again, I think Caitlin Clark was also a little early, but that's because they've gotten into this habit of the screen's not going to work on the ball. The 2 players are going to go at Caitlin Clark, and then she's going to toss it to Aaliyah Boston 25 feet from the basket. But this time, and that is a fantastic floater as well. And I want to go back to this a little bit because look at this. I don't think the defender is even touched here with this screen, is she? At all? No. And look, and they go out and blitz. Now, Caitlin Clark does an incredible job with this split. But if she didn't, what was going to happen? You can see it. Boston is going to catch that ball 25 feet from the basket. Your center, the one you say you want to get touches in the paint, is going to once again catch the ball 25 feet from the basket. And by the way, for those who say she has no mid-range game, you should start to worry if she decides she's going to start taking shots like that. Are you kidding me? Wow. And by the way, there's no reaction from sides on the sideline. And look, despite all of this, despite having to create shots like that because there is no offense, despite a coach who has no offensive game plan, no system, makes no adjustments, despite not being passed to, despite the drop passes from her, the missed layups from passes from her, and players like Mitchell chucking up shots and not passing to Caitlin Clark, and Wheeler not passing to Caitlin Clark, and the terrible to non-existent screens being set. Despite all of that, Caitlin Clark is the fastest player in WNBA history to 30 points, 100 assists, and 100 rebounds in 19 games. Andrea Stinson did it in 22. Shannon Johnson did it in 22. Cynthia Cooper did it in 23. And despite everything going against her, Caitlin Clark did that in 19 games. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about? I mean, it takes a little something for her to come out and say that Caitlin Clark should be shooting the minimum 15 times a game, doesn't it? It really does. Let me know your thoughts on that. That's some impressive next level gaslighting. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I appreciate you checking this out. Please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will talk to you later.